so ecstatic to eat here.
Lucas and Jacob go to a chain restaurant they've never been to.
Fogo de Chão.
Fogo de Chão.
I've been wanting to eat here forever. Once I heard they have unlimited meats, I'm excited to get the meat sweats. I hope I am dripping in sweat, overdosing on meat.
Lucas and I have never been to Brazil, but this could be an interjection because this is a Brazilian steakhouse and the first location was actually in Brazil.
So it wasn't just Americans trying to make another nationality chain like they did with Outback Steakhouse.
Fogo de Chão means ground fire in Portuguese. There's gonna be a bunch of fires happening. I think it's called that because they cook the meat over a fire. It's kind of like a grilled barbecue type thing. Fogo de Chão is a pretty small chain restaurant. It has around like 70 locations. It's more of a upscale chain restaurant. I feel like there's definitely levels to chain restaurants.
Lady Gaga went there on a date with that husband man.
Me and Lucas both have a memory of Lady Gaga going to Fogo de Chão, so maybe it's a dream we both had. I'm not sure. Fogo de Chão locations always look so nice on the outside. This looks like a cathedral.
Once we walked in, Jacob commented that it felt like we were on a cruise ship, and I agree, this gives cruise ship main dining hall energy. It's fancy, it's upscale, it also doesn't seem like too modern though, but it isn't old.
This was a Thursday at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and there was only like 3 other tables. It was completely dead. I was like, yes, we get the whole restaurant to ourselves. Kind of like we booked the private dining room in a way.
Look at this silverware, it is so thick. It's engraved, it feels like something that would be in a kingdom. And you also get some tongs. So you can grab that meat later on once they start slicing it up for you.
They have a whole menu. There's appetizers, desserts, entrees. But if you want to get the thing that made them famous, it's called churrasco. And that's a Portuguese word for grilled meat, barbecue.
There's actually 2 options for churrasco. One is $20 more expensive because it also features seafood and a dessert is included. Jacob was like, should we get that one? And I was like, I'm only eating here if we do get that one. We're going to Fogo de Chão for the first time. Let's blow a bag. What's 20 bucks, you know? What I mean by that is spend it.
Yes, there's a hefty price tag, $82. But you do get a bunch of meats freshly cut for you.
Unlimited.
You get as many plates as you want from the market table. Basically a buffet. I think that's all. Well, you get a dessert. Oh, yeah, and you also get to pick a seafood.
I'm assuming the fountain drinks in with it too.
No, I actually just looked at the receipt and each fountain drink of Diet Coke was $4.95. It is free refills. I mean, for $82, maybe a Diet Coke should come with it because it isn't costing them that much to use fountain soda, let's be honest, but I guess it doesn't.
Yeah, I guess they gotta scam us somehow. Obviously, the Fogo de Chão owners want to get a new private jet, and we're the ones who are going to fund it. But in exchange, we get to experience their restaurant.
There was a bunch of vegetables to choose from. Roasted zucchini, roasted eggplant, roasted peppers, roasted artichokes, mushrooms.
Some asparagus, some olives mixed with citrus or something, broccoli.
There was also some sweet choices, like pineapple.
And randomly oranges, I think?
Grapefruit, I think.
Then
they had the classic salad bar stuff. A bunch of greens, a bunch of sauces.
Also, I was coming up with a little bit of a conspiracy that they try to entice you with this salad bar thing because they want you to fill up so you don't eat the actual luxury items like the meats, which are unlimited. So I was like, I'm not gonna fall for this bullshit. I'm not gonna overindulge on this buffet because I want the actual high price, high ticket items. And I want a lot of them. I'm not falling for it.
Yes, that might be true, but still, I have to get a plate full because they had street corn, chicken salad, potato salad, a bunch of bean salad type things, caprese, and they had a whole entire charcuterie section that me and Lucas skipped because we have so much hatred for charcuterie people.
Yeah, they act like it was just invented in the past 5 years. Like, girl, we all grew up eating Lunchables. It's nothing that special. I love how I said I wasn't gonna fall for the trickery, but look at my plate. Why did I get so much? I actually think a force goes over you when you're at the salad bar here.
When we got back to the table, one of the fairy godmothers left some bread at our table. Something is so magical about that. You leave the table and you assume, yeah, no one cares about me. I'm assuming everyone hates me. But then you get back to the table and some magical wizard person left a piece of bread, and then you realize, I think people do love me. I actually don't think they put the bread here because I'm paying $82 for this meal. I think they put the bread there because they love us. And I know that's probably delusional, but that's what I believed in that moment.
I know, it finally felt like somebody cared about me. Somebody gave a shit that I existed, you know?
Cheese bread was phenomenal. I don't know what type of cheese it was. I don't even know where the cheese was. It must have been baked inside of the actual bread, but dang, it rubbed me the right way.
I know you even see me in this clip turning mine around, inspecting this whole thing. I don't know where the cheese is.
Why is there a hole in it?
I just have so many questions, but it was very good. There's some sort of pickled thing on my plate, as you can see. I don't know if it was pickled onions or pickled radishes. I don't know, but it was good. And I got this because I thought it would be good for my microbiome. Is that even true? I think that's prebiotics, right? Something like that. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but the street corn was definitely the standout on this plate. The potato salad was good as well. And the caprese.
I was just about to say the standout on my plate was the street corn, but no, the caprese was so good. And this is my question. Are some of the items on this market table not Brazilian foods? Because I always thought caprese was Italian, and now I know foods can be a part of multiple cultures.
I feel like even when Jesus was alive, they were eating that in Jerusalem or wherever he lived.
These were some mouth-watering mushrooms. I don't know if all of these vegetables were doused in olive oil or exactly what was happening to these vegetables, but these vegetables were definitely way better than raw vegetables. They were cooking them, they were oiling them, they were seasoning them. Like, these mushrooms were an entire lifestyle.
Except for the broccoli. That was actually just plain ass, dry ass broccoli. Why the F did I get this? They must have to have a healthy option. Because you know, these people get mad saying, why is everything covered in olive oil? This is what they would be eating in it. What is this?
You paid $82 for a piece of dry broccoli?
I know, it's pathetic.
I also got olives because, okay, what I was really craving was pickled, salty foods. I wanted to have so much acid in my stomach that it kind of made me uncomfortable.
Oh, and I also want to mention that the Diet Coke here was top tier. Sometimes places mess it up, they did not. I wish I would have asked for a lemon wedge with mine, but I wasn't brave enough.
It sucks when you realize you weren't brave enough.
I know, and I'll never get that moment back.
We need to talk about the most iconic thing about Fogo de Chão. When you sit down, each of us had a coastal thing where there was two sides to it. Yes, please. No, thanks. Very polite. And if you put it on yes, please, that means give me the meat. I'm open. Keep it coming. No means I'm kind of sad. Life sucks and we all die. During this part of dinner, we had it on no thanks because we wanted to focus on the market table. Using the word focus while talking about a restaurant gives such... You're taking this too seriously.
No, but I actually was like excited that we could go at our own pace. It's like, okay, we can enjoy the buffet and just relax. We quickly found out that wasn't the case because they started offering us meat. And it was like, do these little coasters mean nothing? I mean, we could have just said no, but we said yes. There's these two skewers filled with meat, and then they use this sword thing to either push it down onto your plate, or sometimes they even slice it. This was chicken wrapped in bacon, plopped it onto both of our plates. And I thought this was kind of a good one to start with, because chicken with bacon, that gives starter energy, silliness, clown vibes. Like, it's a good thing to get everything going.
Obviously, we aren't paying $82 to eat chicken with bacon.
Yeah, it's like, let's get this out of the way, because this is silly.
Why did they even have it if it was just silly? It wasn't dry or anything. I actually was loving it because it was the first meat of this meal.
Yeah, I mean, you just taste bacon, which obviously, I mean, it's just covered in bacon.
And then we got some garlic sirloin. Sounds flavorful.
I did notice it was very tough to cut through, and it reminded me that I don't like sirloin, but obviously other people do, so they're gonna serve it. It takes so much effort to chew. I'm just a soft-mouthed soy boy, and I can't do that type of stuff, you know? I can't be gnawing into meat like that.
This had a lot of flavor though. Like this was some strong garlic. Like it's probably still in my throat somewhere. I didn't want any more of it though. But the amount that I did have, I was like, yum.
Yeah, it was cool realizing that, like, okay, every time they drop a piece of meat on a plate, it's like a little bite. Mama bird chewing up the food and spitting out a little bite for her children.
That's what the meat servers are like at this restaurant.
The mama birdie.
And what's the little kids being fed?
Feed us. Now it's time to receive the items that make our dinner $20 more expensive. The seafood, they had 4 or 5 items or something that you could pick from. I chose the lobster tail.
I chose a crab cake simply because I love cake.
Cake.
Then it came with some mashed potatoes, some fried polenta, and also some fried bananas.
I squeezed some lemon all over the lobster tail, and I think I'm a lobster person now, officially. Drenched in butter. And that lemon juice, it all just worked.
Yes, there is cons to humanity having so many technological advances, but one of the pros to me and Lucas is that you can be in the middle of Kansas and have fresh seafood. I don't know if this seafood is fresh, but I'm just gonna say it is. There was some lemon, so I put that on top of the crab cake, and immediately after having that first bite of crab cake, I was like, how could someone not like crab cake? It's crab, maybe some mayonnaise type thing, some butter, just all of this creamy goodness. And although there is a bunch of crab in it, I would honestly say that only 50% of it's crab. The other 50% is all these juicy things making it so good.
I snuck a bite and it was otherworldly. How come no one ever says you're being crabby anymore? That adjective's kind of gone out.
If you were a straight guy and you were married to a woman and you had 2 kids, I kind of have a feeling you'd be using the word crabby a lot, saying our kids are crabby, you're crabby.
Oh.
I feel like it's a lot of heterosexual relationships. That's where crabby gets used a lot.
That's true. That's why it's out of my life completely.
I tried some of the mashed potatoes and they tasted very much like traditional Thanksgiving mashed potatoes. Cool, nice.
Yeah, they were just very simple and elegant.
Then I tried some of the fried banana. Damn, it tasted exactly like banana bread. It got whales turning. I started to think, why am I ever having banana bread? Why not just put a banana in some oil and fry it up? It's just as good, if not better.
Oh yeah, did they sprinkle cinnamon on it, or is it just, did cinnamon just come out of it somehow when you fry it?
I don't know, but yeah, there was like a glaze on it.
It actually was like a little mini dessert to break up all the meats going on, you know?
I wasn't sure what polenta was, so I asked the waiter and he said it was cornmeal blended with some other stuff and then fried. And this polenta had Parmesan cheese on top.
Yeah.
Kind of reminded me of like a potato or like oatmeal that was blended up, but it had a lot of flavor because it was fried with cheese.
To me, it tasted like a Funyun.
We decided to hit the buffet one last time. We noticed that there was an entire section we missed. It had black bean sausage, some rice, and it had some tomato mozzarella soup, I think I saw. It did look enticing, but I also was like, it's not enticing me enough.
I just wanted to look at it, so I'm glad we opened up those little metal things, but I was like, I'm good. But I will get some chicken salad because I didn't get a chance to try it. And there was this apple slaw? What was that?
Apple manchego salad. On my last plate, I got the chicken salad, and it was some phenomenal chicken salad. Not too mayo-y, just perfect.
And I'm glad I got this. And I just wish I could hear what Bethany Frankel had to say about it, because she's always reviewing chicken salads on TikTok. But I was just wondering if she would have liked this, which is sad because I should have just been happy that I liked it. But now I was trying to think, well, would she like it? And it was kind of starting to affect my decision if I liked it. Now it turns out every time I eat, maybe it'll be Bethany Frankel eating. Like, I'm not even going to be the one judging it. It's just going to be her in my head.
This was some interesting apple salad. So it was apples, some type of cream. It was a sweet but also kind of savory salad. And then there was some white cheese in it. So there was a bunch of combinations happening, and I fell in love because each bite was a new orgasm in my mouth.
And it was the perfect fresh side that you need when you're devouring meats.
I also got a bean salad because Lucas told me a few months ago about dense bean salads, and this kind of reminded me of that. So I just wanted a few bites of it, and yes, it was yummy.
At this point, we officially flipped our cards over to green. So even though the waiters were already bringing us meats and offering them, now it was about to go into turbocharged drive. Like, the meats were gonna start being lined up. Hopefully we don't choke because we're gonna be eating them so fast. That's how it was gonna be now that now that the green's flipped over. Green means go.
Right away, one of the people with meat came by and said, we have some bacon wrapped chicken, some bacon wrapped sirloin. Do you fellas want any? I said, yeah, I'll have one of each. Lucas said no to the chicken, yes to the bacon wrapped sirloin.
Yeah, we'd already had the chicken, so I was like, I don't want that again. I only want a new bitch. I don't want any old bitches.
I mean, obviously the chicken tasted the same as the bacon wrapped chicken I had previously, but the bacon wrapped sirloin was also good. Me and Lucas were starting to realize that you could wrap bacon around anything and you wouldn't taste what's in the center. All you're gonna taste is the bacon.
Yeah, I know earlier I was saying I don't like sirloin. Well, it turns out I do like it if it's wrapped in bacon. You could wrap bacon around a dead homeless cat's tail and it honestly would taste good. Because the whole thing is like the meat sucks on its own, so we have to wrap it in bacon. Ooh, some specialty sirloin is being served. And we were instructed to use our tongs for the first time.
I was so excited to use these tongs because they just felt like I was some billionaire Nepo baby kid being like just grabbing stuff.
I know, it was a very intimate experience. You're holding the tongs on the meat as he is cutting it with this giant sword. And yeah, and there's so much trust going on because he has this weapon, you're holding the tongs. It's very intimate and vulnerable. I was excited to try premium sirloin.
Get the good stuff coming out.
And it was a step above. I have to say it had much more flavor. And the outside was crispy. It had a burnt crisp that enhanced it immensely.
There was just so much seasoning, so much juice. It was definitely better than the bacon wrapped sirloin and the garlic sirloin. This was the best so far.
They don't call it premium for nothing.
Now it was time for the sausage. Can we talk about how the sausage looks on the skewers? It's all twisted. It just reminds me of a cartoon. It looks kind of cute.
I know, it actually does just look so funny.
This was like no sausage I've had before. It kind of tasted grainy. Like it felt like they added a bunch of rice into the sausage or something.
Yeah, the first thing that came to my mind was vegan meat. But you can't really go wrong with sausage. I mean, it's always just a fatty, tasty chunk.
So much sodium, so you have to like it because we love sodium.
Sodium is Jesus. We now were to the part of the dinner where they were cooking up the meats back there for longer than 5 minutes. It was just weird to have 5 minutes to just sit there. Like we've been in such a rush mode. Eat, 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 look, oh my God, food, what? Trying all these different things. And we finally had a chance to just let it all marinate. I started to remember why I'm always running away from my own mind. And I was ready for a new meat to come out and distract me from my inner darkness.
Now it's time for bottom sirloin. Me and Lucas are just learning new things at this restaurant. So many types of sirloin. Wow. Whoa.
I was so ignorant earlier in this video, I said I don't like sirloin. That's not even true, because I've liked some of the sirloins.
Each of these meats, I was curious, like, how are they so flavorful? But then I looked back at the menu, and this is how they describe the cooking process. Carefully butcher, simply season, and fire roast, producing a salty bulk and creating a unique and unforgettable culinary experience. Okay, so the part that stood out to me was the salty bulk. I feel like each of these cuts of meat had this layer of tree bark that was very flavorful.
I know, the char is what gets the taste going, and these all had a good char. And I enjoyed the bottom sirloin. I heard you comment that it was like a roast beef kind of, and it was in a way.
It was hard to enjoy it because I don't really enjoy prime rib, and the look of this bottom sirloin looked a lot like prime rib, but I tried to just have that glass over my memory, and when it did, I was like, bottom sirloin is worthy of life. Each meat was so rich too. Like, it felt like I was eating something that had like 1,000 calories a bite, because something about it felt like it was infiltrating every cell in my body.
Left my body and flew around the city for a few minutes, and then came back to my meat sack that I call my body. We then were served garlic steak, which we took because we were like, oh, maybe it's different from the garlic sirloin. It turns out it was the same thing. I still didn't like it because it was just so tough. Some people probably are like, I love how you have to just bite through it so hard and it hurts your jaw. Look at the table shake as I try to cut into it.
It looks like our drinks were about to fall over at one point. Now we're going to an entire different animal. We've tried chicken, we've tried cow, now we're trying lamb.
We even tried pig, I'm assuming, the sausage.
Oh, that is true.
But let's dig into a lamb, why don't we?
Piece of lamb I got was red.
It was so juicy and tender, but all I can describe it as is interesting. Because there was this whole internal fight going on because our mom detests lamb. She doesn't like talking about people eating it. She acts like it's the most disgusting thing on the earth. So I think that did kind of play into me being a little bit weirded out by it. And it did just, yeah, it just tasted interesting because I don't really ever have lamb. So it was just like, okay.
Since it's lamb, I was picturing it to taste so gamey and kind of weird, but it just tasted yummy to me. Like, I was picturing to kind of be grossed out, but no, I probably could have had an entire other slice of this lamb. But it did just open my eyes to like, oh, I didn't know lamb could taste so regular-degular. Oh, now we're getting to Lucas's favorite. I was wondering if this was gonna be on the meat spread. I was like, is there gonna be any filet mignon or whatever? Like, where is that? I thought that was part of the experience. And yes, we each got half of a filet.
And I was kind of wowed. I was like, wait, we get filet mignon? Like, yes, it is technically unlimited, but they might only bring it out once an hour. That's how they get ya, you know?
This was just worlds different from all the other steak we were having because it was so easy to cut and it was basically like soup. It wasn't like soup, but what I'm trying to say is that it was just so easy to chew through compared to these other steaks we've been having.
Filet mignon is famously my favorite type of steak, so I was a happy camper. Eating away at my filet. The first time I've ever had it Brazilian style.
This was the first cut of meat that didn't taste like it had that crusty bulk on it. It kind of just tasted like they grilled it and added some seasoning, but all of the other steaks tasted like it had some thick seasoning, whereas this tasted more toned down.
Yeah, they were just gonna let the filet speak for itself.
Okay, things are starting to get interesting. Parmesan crusted pork chop. And it's not some little fake thing where there's barely any Parmesan. No, you see big flakes of Parmesan on this pork chop. Yes, like obviously I want to try this. Pork chop is obviously kind of boring, but add cheese on it and it's gonna probably be so tasty. And yes, it was so tasty. It kind of tasted like pasta in a way.
Yeah, I immediately got transported to an Italian restaurant. Felt like it was like chicken Parmesan, but it wasn't.
I just love how they're not afraid. Some people would think it's too scary to put Parmesan on pork chop, but Fogo de Chão is like, no, it's not scary. It's actually excellent.
Because you know the person who suggested it was scared they would get their hair pulled and be slapped right across the face when they suggested Parmesan pork. But I'm glad they actually listened to that person.
I mean, maybe it's like a classic Brazilian dish. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
But I'm not used to it.
Y'all, I'm sorry. I know y'all hate me, but I did tap out at this point. I was thinking, okay, I don't want to get sick. And there's a lot of different types of meat from different parts of different animals resting in my stomach, and I wanted to stop while I was ahead.
And immediately Lucas went to the bathroom and I was just sitting there alone with my lamb chop. Yes, those lamb chops. The first meat with bones included. It's real meat, guys. There's actually bones. This is where the lamb started to taste gamey. There was some wilderness flavors happening. I don't know if I like this, but I still did eat a big piece of it.
One of the meat men was nice enough to tell me, oh, this is one you haven't tried yet. You should try this even though you tapped out. And I was like, oh, thank you. Like, I do want to try everything. So I tried it, and I'm pretty sure he didn't know because another one of the meat servers gave me it earlier, but it was just the premium sirloin again. But it's the thought that counts.
At this point, I was just getting all of the meats confused. The meat started going to my brain and I couldn't think properly. Now it's time for dessert. They brought out an entire menu. After having all of this salty meat, I gotta say, these desserts were making me bounce off the walls just looking at the names of them.
Thinking I want this one, this one, this one, what one are you getting? Oh, that's this one, oh my god.
Definitely movie star desserts. These are superstar desserts.
What's in that cup, Lucas? Well, it's the papaya cream, buddy. And it came in this cute little glass. It had some churro things, and it was the cold, sweet treat that I needed in this moment. It was kind of flat. Like, I didn't even really taste papaya, I don't think. I kind of just tasted almond. And it wasn't too over-the-top sweet, which I appreciated.
I got the Tres Leches cake because, once again, I love cake. I'm not being ironic. I'm being completely serious. One of the best cakes I've had from a chain restaurant. Honestly, the best cake I've had from a chain restaurant. It was amazing. I haven't had that many Tres Leches cakes in my life, but this might be the best one I've ever had. There was that slice of cake, cream surrounding it, berries. There was some cream on top that had actually been charred. Like it was a little bit burnt.
Yeah, I had to sneak a bite of Jacob's, and I'm mad I did, because once I had the over-the-top, overwhelming sweetness of his dessert, when I went back to mine, it had no flavor. My taste buds burned off completely from all of the sugar in his. Something about that bouncy, milky cake. And we were actually saying, why isn't every cake soaked in milk for a day? I don't know how long they do soak it, but
I would go as far to say everything in life should be Tres Leche. Everything in life should have 3 milks. Bellies were stuffed. I mean, that's probably good because we did spend like $100 each at this restaurant, so I guess you probably should leave feeling full.
Somebody get the slip and slide out and load it up with baby oil, because I'm about to roll out of this joint.
Thoroughly enjoyed it. Like the entire time I was happy. Like, oh, yay.
I'm not enough of a meat lover to fully enjoy this restaurant.
It is nice though that we have checked that off our list. We have another chain restaurant checked off our list.
Fogo de Chão!